So we build something and we don't think about the consequences, and then it essentially bites us in the butt. The Terminator,
Hmm.
effectively.
Yeah.
Some other people think the doomsday scenario is someone creates an open source package and bad actors use it to create discourse, unrest, whatever it might be in the world. What do you think a realistic Terminator scenario looks like, rather than necessarily robots coming and attacking us from the future?
I, for one, welcome if our robot overlords are listening to this podcast. I, for one, welcome you. Thank you. We're kind of waiting to be saved. And
I
there's
say
been
please
some,
and thank you in all my ChatGPT prompts. So
yes. Yeah, I try to be nice to all virtual agents because you never know which one's the one. But, and, as much as I'm joking about it, there's some reality to that. Eventually, one of these will evolve to the point where we can't control every component of its behavior. And I think that's where right now we're at a point where everything we've built from a technology standpoint is contained. The closest we've ever gotten to something that's an uncontained, dangerous technology is nuclear weapons. Because those have a level of complexity. You need the raw materials and you need some significant know how in order to develop them. The barrier to developing advanced machine learning is coming down so fast that we're now seeing people in college, midway through their undergrad, developing leading edge models and leveraging open source data sets to do it, figuring out novel approaches that reduce the hardware footprint requirements, that reduce level of really domain expertise required, reduce the amount of data that's necessary. So we're going to see that continue to come down and come down quick because optimization's inevitable. It costs too much right now. When you look at how much Nvidia is selling chips for as they're about to release their earnings, it is a staggering amount of money that it costs in order to train these large models. So optimization is inevitable, and that ties into the Terminator because it gets cheaper and cheaper every year, and the knowledge required every year to build an RC car with a handgun on it comes down every year. And if you put a GoPro and a pistol on top of an RC car, train it with a facial recognition algorithm, you can start telling it, hey, go to this person's house and take them out. Like the
please,
level
nobody do
of,
that, just for clarity.
yeah, I'm not recommending anyone do that, but I'm just saying that level of knowledge continues to come down. It gets easier and easier to do. And so that's where, if I'm looking at the Terminator, it is that we can weaponize it more and with at lower and lower cost, lower and lower domain expertise. You throw 3D printing into this, and now we're giving people access to specifications for anything. And so robotics applications come into play here. And so we are losing control of it because it is no longer contained. The technology is too easy, it's too accessible, and people are smart. There is an open and available knowledge store. And with generative AI, it's even more available. So the costs of this are coming down, and that's one of my worries. But the other worry is that if you make a model that's sufficiently not intelligent, but I'm overextending the word. It has sufficient domain expertise. You can throw it at a marketplace and destabilize the marketplace. So it isn't so much doing something intentionally wrong. It's somebody decides that they want to trade on the stock market and throws a model at it. But they're not thinking all the way through the implications of what happens when you throw that model. And think about Wall Street bets and the short squeezes, where they almost destabilized the market on Reddit. If you can mobilize enough people, you can begin to destabilize markets by finding flaws in the market, by finding weaknesses in the marketplace. And that's what models really do well. They learn the rules of these very complex seeming systems. But if you give them enough data, they're actually not that complex. And models are so much faster than we are, that if you put an algorithmic trading system out on one of the exchanges and it was smart enough, it was good enough, it would begin to eventually destabilize the market. And so while we're all thinking about RC cars with pistols on this side as the big danger, no, the danger really is that somebody in their 20s who's studied economics and has figured a few things out creates a model that's sufficiently accurate enough or sufficiently reliable enough that it destabilizes a marketplace. That's the really big danger, because think about that. Reddit got close. It wasn't a true destabilization, but they got close enough to show what can happen if you can get enough people believing in a system. And if they had more people, they would have truly destabilized a large segment of the market, and more than one hedge fund would have collapsed. And you can start a cascade that way. You can inadvertently, as we saw with Silicon Valley Bank, you can inadvertently start bank runs. All of these things now, these complex marketplaces and systems, they're vulnerable to models. And in my opinion, that's the Terminator, is someone who's really smart, has absolutely no malice in them. They're just building something to do algorithmic trading or to optimize the spot price of some agricultural good, or to just, really benign uses. But the model itself, the accuracy of it, and a community that gets behind it can destabilize a number of different marketplaces. And somebody who's not trying to create the Terminator and who doesn't create anything that's that intelligent just inadvertently destabilizes something that society depends on.
Interesting. I think, it seems like you're saying the Terminator is not some sentient AI. The Terminator is us in some non purposeful way, but in a somewhat selfish way, because the pursuit of profit or any of these types of things are inherently selfish.